Good morning. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration of Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine, welcome to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2011. To the many family members and friends in the audience today, I must tell you that this is a special class. During the last 4 years, the graduates sitting before you have worked very hard, and they have distinguished themselves through their academic achievements, their professionalism, their community service efforts, and their research accomplishments. They have distinguished themselves through the high quality and broad scope of the dental care they delivered to their patients. They have distinguished themselves through their outstanding pass rates on the national board examinations. We are proud of the class of 2011, and I ask you to join me in applause to acknowledge their hard work and their many accomplishments. I would like to introduce a number of special guests seated in the two front rows on either side of me. I would ask each guest to stand as your name is called, and I would ask the audience to please hold your applause until all are standing. The Chancellor of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, Dr. Vaughn Vandegrift. Associate Executive Director of the American Dental Education Association and Director of the Association's Center for Equity and Diversity, Dr. Jean Sinkford. President of the Dental School Alumni Council, Dr. Elizabeth Clary. SIUE Vice Chancellor for Administration, Mr. Ken Neer. SIUE Vice Chancellor for University Relations, Mr. Patrick Hunley. President of the Illinois State Dental Society, Dr. Darrell Beard. Graduation Marshal and Assistant Dean for Clinical Affairs, Dr. Deborah Schwenk. And to my left, all from the School of Dental Medicine, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. Bruce Rotter. Assistant Dean for Admissions and Student Services, Dr. Cornell Thomas. Chair of the SDM Faculty Assembly, Dr. Daniel Ketteman. Assistant Dean for Information Technology and Projects, Dr. Eric Langenwalter. Please now acknowledge these individuals with your applause. It is through the hard work, dedication, and commitment of the School of Dental Medicine faculty that our students are able to achieve academic and clinical excellence. That excellence distinguishes our school as one of the best dental education institutions in the United States. Faculty of the School of Dental Medicine, please rise and be acknowledged. I would like to extend our appreciation to the Gateway Brass Quintet for the processional music. A special thank you goes to Miss Debbie Webb, who has organized all of the arrangements for today's graduation, and to the administrative staff members and the dental student ushers who have assisted her. Thank you very much. I would now like to invite SIUE Chancellor Vaughn Vandegrift to the podium to extend his welcome to you.
Good morning. Generally, when we talk about extending a warm welcome here at SIUE, we mean it figuratively, but today we're giving it to you both literally and figuratively, and I hope you do enjoy the warm welcome you have while you're visiting our campus today. I want to welcome you all to the 2011 spring commencement of the School of Dental Medicine. To the 51 graduates we honor today, my warmest congratulations, for indeed you are in a select group. Although we live in a time in which higher education is heavily promoted, a college education, much less an advanced professional degree, is not a foregone conclusion. Graduates, today's commencement is a formal academic celebration conducted in your honor. You should be proud of your accomplishments. However, you have not succeeded by yourselves. During the last 4 difficult years, you have all received support from many people, and they should be proud as well. These include your immediate family members, parents, guardians, grandparents, spouses, siblings, and children. I would like now for them to stand and be honored and recognized by the graduates. Parents, guardians, grandparents, spouses, siblings, and children. Please stand and be recognized. Graduates, you have also been, a little feedback there. You have also been helped by friends and by other relatives, advisors, and mentors, and I would like them also to stand to be recognized by the graduates. Friends, relatives, advisors, mentors, those of you who have supported the graduates, please stand and be recognized by our graduating class. Now, speaking of family members, it's interesting to note that we have in attendance a number of family members who will be directly sharing in the hooding ceremony. In fact, this year, a record 10 of our School of Dental Medicine alums will be honoring loved ones with a hood. These connections are representative of the support you have all received, support that is one of the best predictors of student success. At this time, would all of our alumni, both dental medicine and otherwise from our university, please stand. If you have a degree from SIU Edwardsville, please stand and be recognized. Great to be among friends. The class of 2011 has achieved notable success. You have proven yourselves to be an academically astute group, earning a 98% first-time pass rate on the National Board of Dental Examination Part 2. In addition, over 30% of this class, 16 students, will graduate today with honors. And not only have you excelled while meeting the challenge of completing a professional degree, you have done so during a period of incredible change and challenge, both at the university and beyond. As I'm sure you have learned over the years, a tremendous amount can happen in a relatively short period of time. Each of you has witnessed historically unprecedented events during your years here at the SIU School of Dental Medicine. I think in particular of the 2008 presidential election, the tragic earthquakes in Haiti and Japan, the economic recession that has gripped America, and of course the significant milepost in the war on terror, the death of Osama bin Laden. These are events that have greatly impacted the nation, indeed the world, in their profound consequence. And it seems that they have only just occurred, all of them, and that you've only just arrived here to begin your professional studies. There have been many significant positive events here at the dental school since your arrival, successes of which we are all proud. You have been among the first to benefit from renovations to the main clinic, including enhanced sterilization and dispensing areas, improvement to the oral surgery clinic, and introduction of digital radiography technology last fall. Members of the class of 2011 have shown a commitment to the school and a willingness to give back, engaging in a student-led fundraising effort that recently allowed for the installation of a new campus entry gate, 2 attractive limestone walls connected by a beautiful wrought iron archway, which will create a celebration of entry for all. Perhaps most notably, this class was among the first to begin an expanded rotation schedule at the East St. Louis Dental Clinic, allowing for an increase in the number of underserved pediatric patients. This has been of great benefit to the East St. Louis community, and your work initiated something that will impact future generations. At the university level, SIUE has grown in reputation and national recognition during the last 4 years. You have been on campus to witness our designation by U.S. News and World Report for 2 consecutive years as one of only 68 up-and-coming universities in the nation. This year, we became known for our promising and innovative changes in the areas of academics, faculty, and student life. The university is now also listed by Washington Monthly, a national political magazine, as one of the top 50 master's granting colleges and universities in the United States in the areas of social mobility, research, and service. something you helped contribute to by your work in the dental clinics. And while we never become complacent about the well-being of our students, we are proud to be recognized as the 21st safest university in the country out of 458 with 6,000 or more students. We have also gained momentum with the initial construction of our new science complex here on campus, which will serve to promote SIUE to the next level in health sciences programming and will allow for expansion in curricula and enhanced preparation for professional studies. My point here is that so much can happen in a relatively short period of time, and circumstances may challenge or present opportunities. Occasionally they do both. Even with the professional benefits that go along with graduating from an institution recognized for excellence, the current economic downturn may have a number of you wondering about the challenges of finding your own success in difficult times. With many retirement-age dental professionals reluctant to step aside at this time, there may be fewer opportunities available than in the past. What I would say to you is that you can never entirely predict what opportunities lay just ahead. Again, a very significant amount can happen in a very short period of time, and this current economic situation cannot continue indefinitely. What you can be sure of is that the key to your success and ultimate well-being is directly linked to the passion with which you pursue them. Arnold Glasgow, American author and humorist, said, quote, "Success is not the result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire." End quote. Maintain the zeal with which you've approached your studies and channel it to the pursuit of your dreams. As you advance to the next phase of your lives, living, quote, on fire means combining your passion for life and humanitarianism with the important lessons you've gained as a student. Remember the university's values of citizenship, excellence, integrity, openness, and wisdom. You will see them hanging, expressed on a banner in the Goshen Lounge as you leave this room. Incorporate these into your life's journey. We hope and expect that you will continue to celebrate the value of citizenship by maintaining your commitment to public service following graduation. Your significant influence as healthcare professionals has the potential to reach well beyond your local communities to those at regional, national, and even international levels. Within each of these realms and in all pursuits, you have the opportunity to reflect our values of openness and integrity, which translate to our stated goals of the inclusion of the rich diversity of humankind in all aspects of life, respect for individual differences, and intellectual freedom and diversity of thought. Your professors have strived to provide you with the curiosity to be lifelong learners, which is a part of the university's value of wisdom. And of course, in all endeavors, excellence is the hallmark of our university. Doctors, as you now prepare for the next stage of your lives, you can help others to develop and succeed as you have been helped by the taxpayers of Illinois. Public higher education is receiving a smaller portion of national and state income than used to be the case. As a result, our university is rapidly becoming state-assisted university rather than one that is state-supported. In the coming years, we must rededicate ourselves and inspire the dedication of others to support public higher education. In this, we ask for your help, and in return, we commit to ensuring the value of your degree from this day forward. With your continued support and that of your fellow alumni, we will maintain and enhance the value of our university's education. Graduates and soon-to-be alumni, we congratulate you and send you off with this imperative: go and do well, respect those who have come before you, pursue your life's ambitions, and enable others in the pursuit of theirs. Be bold, be achievers, and fulfill your potential. Congratulations and best wishes.
Candidates for the degree Doctor of Dental Medicine, please rise. Chancellor Vandergriff, These candidates, subject to the completion of all requirements established by the university and the faculty of the School of Dental Medicine, are recommended to you for the formal conferring of their degrees.
In accordance with this recommendation by the faculty and the dean, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Southern Illinois University, I confer on each of you the Doctor of Dental Medicine degree with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Doctors of the class of 2011, please be seated.
Good morning and welcome. This is a very special time in the lives of our graduates and their guests. We would like to invite the family members to feel free to take photographs of your graduate as they come across the stage. Candidates will come to the stage as their names are called. Dr. Daniele Adamo. Dr. Samantha Arnold. Dr. Joseph Baumgart. Dr. Megan Boyd. Dr. Clint Robert Boyle. Dr. Brad Buckingham. Dr. Andrew Gene Calderero. Dr. Calderero will be hooded by his brother, Dr. John Calderero, who is a 2008 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Kendra Nicole Chapman Small. Dr. David Gotti Corliss, cum laude. Dr. Anthony Michael D. Dr. Nicole Elger. Dr. Natalie Marie Flaherty. Dr. Jennifer Ann Foles. Dr. Jake Frazier. Dr. Matt Gergen, cum laude. Dr. Aaron Hendricks, magna cum laude. Dr. Craig Edward Irvin. Dr. Irvin will be hooded by his wife, Dr. Nunya Irvin, who is a 2007 graduate of the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Daniel Robert Jacobson, cum laude. Dr. Carla Korsakoff. Dr. Christopher Kite. Dr. Brian Michael Klein, cum laude. Dr. Klein will be hooded by his father, Dr. Christopher Klein, who's a 1983 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Andrew Jacob Custer, magna cum laude. Dr. Kenneth Kraus, cum laude. Dr. Christina Lappin. Dr. Adewale Olaitan Lawal. Dr. Erica Lopez. Dr. Ryan Luchtefeld, cum laude. Dr. Luchtefeld will be hooded by his cousin, Dr. Jason Luchtefeld, who's a 2000 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Christopher Lawrence Maurer. Dr. Maurer will be hooded by his sister, Dr. Susan Maurer, who's a 1993 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Patrick Gerald McShane, magna cum laude. Dr. Bethany Rose Middleton. Dr. Middleton will be hooded by her uncle, Dr. Bradley Hudson, who's a 1987 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Latasha Nash. Dr. Laura Nation. Dr. Kelly Brunk Newell. Dr. Newell will be hooded by her father, Dr. Mark Brunk, who's a 1984 graduate from class of the dental school. Dr. Ka Man Nguyen. Dr. David C. Opperman. Dr. Opperman will be hooded by his father, Dr. Eric Opperman, who's a 1985 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Michelle Prather, cum laude. Dr. Keith A. Robinson. Dr. Brian Rosenblatt. Dr. Adam Edward Sandberg. Dr. Christina M. Schiefelbein, cum laude. Dr. Schiefelbein will be hooded by her sister, Dr. Courtney Schiefelbein, who's a 2010 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Travis Cole Swartz. Congratulations. Dr. Kenneth Brian Scroggins. Dr. Scroggins will be hooded by his wife, Dr. Jocelyn Scroggins, who's a 2009 graduate from the School of Dental Medicine. Dr. Bijo Shaw. Dr. Michael Thomas Smith. Dr. Katie Spencer, cum laude. Dr. Elizabeth Steller, cum laude. Dr. Nathaniel Blake Swar. Dr. Kylie Tibbs Nisdo, cum laude. Dr. Brian Ernest Waldman. Dr. Andrew Scott White. And Dr. John Wheatholder, cum laude.
It is my great honor and pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Jean Sinkford. Dr. Sinkford is nationally and internationally renowned as a dental educator, administrator, researcher, and clinician. I've always had the greatest admiration and respect for Dr. Sinkford because of her many accomplishments, and I would like to share just a few of them with you. Dr. Sinkford received her Doctor of Dental Surgery degree from Howard University College of Dentistry in 1958. There were almost no women in dentistry at that time. Being accepted as a female into a class of men was very difficult in 1958, and there were many obstacles for the women who entered a dental program at that time. Despite those obstacles, Dr. Sinkford excelled, and she graduated first in her dental class. Following dental school, she went on to Northwestern University in Chicago, where she earned a master's degree and then a PhD in physiology in 1963. Dr. Sinkford returned to Washington, D.C. and began dental practice and teaching at Howard's Dental School, but not yet finished with her own education. She went back again and specialized in pediatric dentistry, completing her residency program at the Children's National Medical Center in Washington, D.C. in 1975. Later that same year, Dr. Sinkford became the first woman dental school dean in the United States. She served as the dean at Howard University for 16 years until 1991. On retiring from the deanship, Dr. Sinkford left a dental school, but she did not leave dental education. She has been working for the American Dental Education Association ever since, where she serves as the Associate Executive Director of the organization and the Director of the Association's Center for Equity and Diversity. Dr. Sinkford has served on numerous committees and advisory councils of national significance, including positions with the National Institutes of Health, the American Society for Geriatric Dentistry, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the American Dental Association, the Veterans Administration, the Institute of Medicine, and the National Academy of Sciences. She has published over 100 scientific papers and holds honorary degrees from 4 different universities. She is the first woman to ever be named as an outstanding leader in dental education by the International College of Dentists. Among the large number of honors and awards bestowed upon her, Dr. Sinkford's most recent award is the Pierre Fichard Academy Gold Medal for outstanding contributions to the progress and stature of the dental profession. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jean Sinkford, a woman of many firsts and a role model for many, including me, to the podium as our commencement.
Dr. Kylie Tibbs Nisdo, cum laude. Dr. Brian Ernest Waldman. Dr. Andrew Scott White. And Dr. John Wheatholder, cum laude.
It is my great honor and pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Jean Sinkford. Dr. Sinkford is nationally and internationally renowned as a dental educator, administrator, researcher, and clinician. I've always had the greatest admiration and respect for Dr. Sinkford because of her many accomplishments, and I would like to share just a few of them with you. Dr. Sinkford received her Doctor of Dental Surgery degree from Howard University College of Dentistry in 1958. There were almost no women in dentistry at that time. Being accepted as a female into a class of men was very difficult in 1958, and there were many obstacles for the women who entered a dental program at that time. Despite those obstacles, Dr. Sinkford excelled, and she graduated first in her dental class. Following dental school, she went on to Northwestern University in Chicago, where she earned a master's degree and then a PhD in physiology in 1963. Dr. Sinkford returned to Washington, D.C. and began dental practice and teaching at Howard's Dental School, but not yet finished with her own education. She went back again and specialized in pediatric dentistry, completing her residency program at the Children's National Medical Center in Washington, D.C. in 1975. Later that same year, Dr. Sinkford became the first woman dental school dean in the United States. She served as the dean at Howard University for 16 years until 1991. On retiring from the deanship, Dr. Sinkford left a dental school, but she did not leave dental education. She has been working for the American Dental Education Association ever since, where she serves as the Associate Executive Director of the organization and the Director of the Association's Center for Equity and Diversity. Dr. Sinkford has served on numerous committees and advisory councils of national significance, including positions with the National Institutes of Health, the American Society for Geriatric Dentistry, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the American Dental Association, the Veterans Administration, the Institute of Medicine, and the National Academy of Sciences. She has published over 100 scientific papers and holds honorary degrees from 4 different universities. She is the first woman to ever be named as an outstanding leader in dental education by the International College of Dentists. Among the large number of honors and awards bestowed upon her, Dr. Sinkford's most recent award is the Pierre Fichard Academy Gold Medal for outstanding contributions to the progress and stature of the dental profession. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jean Sinkford, a woman of many firsts and a role model for many, including me, to the podium as our commencement speaker.
At commencement, because it brings back so many memories, but it also is a challenge to this class that sits before you today. It's a very special class from a very special school, and I must take a moment to tell you about the dean that will be leaving here to take a higher position. As the faculty and her administrators now are a little timid about what they're going to have to do in her absence, I assure them that she has been chosen for a higher cause to which she could not say no, and to which she will still need their courage and support and good wishes as she assumes responsibilities that will impact a broader range of people at this institution. And so today I would like to join the rest of you as we congratulate her and also wish her well in her new position. To the class of 2011, this is probably the last time that you all will see each other. And I tell you this because I'm hoping you will come back, you will return year after year to reunion. But you will find in your busy lives, you're at different parts of the country, different obligations, so that you won't get a chance to really see each other together again as a group. So enjoy the day and know that you will be in touch by Twitter and tweet and everything else. But it's probably going to be very difficult to get all of you together again. The Alumni Association will try to do that. I join in the feeling of pride that your teachers, parents, and family and friends share with you today, with a reminder that to whom much is given, much is expected. Your patients will call you doctor, and doctor means healer. It also means teacher, and I hope some of you will join us in the teaching profession. We really need faculty. We have 300 vacant faculty positions in U.S. dental schools today, and we're looking forward to another 20 new schools. So we really have a challenge as it relates to our faculty competency and availability. The Hippocratic Oath has been passed on to you today to prevent disease, alleviate pain, and prolong life. You will find in your practice of dentistry that wellness is a partnership between you and your patients, and each has a role in lifelong health outcomes and well-being. Many of your patients will seek your care and advice. They'll come to you advice that contribute to their sense of well-being and happiness. And you must live up to those expectations and their trust through compassionate and empathetic care. You will both laugh and cry with them, but yours will be the individual that they're asking to hold them together. Now, dentistry is a great profession. It's evidenced by facts such as Americans live longer, they're retaining their teeth for longer periods of time, and they value oral health. As we know now, they spend more time going to the dentist for preventive care. And fluoridated water has reduced tooth decay by 60% in school-aged children. And in spite of these positive indicators, as with medicine, we have a serious access problem. We know that 40 million Americans lack medical insurance, but what the public doesn't really understand is that 140 million lack dental insurance, and many more are underinsured, while today 17 cents out of every dollar is spent on health. Americans lack needed care, and this includes individuals that are working and low income across America. You will be sorely needed in the communities in which you will be privileged to serve. The United States Public Health Service identifies over 4,000 public health shortage areas in this country where 9,600 dentists are needed. And you know a lot about the shortage of physicians, especially primary care physicians, but we have the same issue as it relates to dentists. The public is shocked when we have a case like Diamante Driver, and you've read about it in the press. He's the 12-year-old Prince George's County student who died from a tooth abscess, which would have cost about $85. A tooth abscess. He lacked access to care. Now, this has stimulated a major national campaign to increase access to oral health care in the new pediatric dental health benefits in the state health insurance program, which we call SCHIP, and in the Affordable Care Act. And we hope to prevent future Diamante drivers. While Americans are living longer, which is a compliment to our health system, the population is increasing in age with chronic diseases and increased demand for health services. And both access to care and service to the elderly population are challenges that you will address in your years of practice. You will be involved in health delivery transformation in this country with interprofessional teams working together to deliver care. During the next 40 years, and that's the anticipated lifespan for your practices, you will see exciting changes related to outcomes from our research endeavors, such as genomics, proteomics, stem cell research, biomarkers, and diagnostics, and you'll be looking at new uses of information technology. It's difficult for me to remember the time when in my research interest in dental implants 40 years ago, where the biocompatibility of metal was not well documented. And today, through bioengineering, we look forward to genetically engineered teeth. And as I look in my crystal ball, during your lifespan, your careers of 40 years, you will no longer use mold guides, but you will use, or shade guides in the selection of artificial teeth, but you will use genetically engineered teeth from tissue banks that replace lost and missing human tooth structure. That will be a remarkable transformation that will occur because of our stem cell research. And human saliva, which we pay very little attention to as a public, will be used along with blood and urine in clinical tests for human diseases. Newer horizons in restorative materials and also greater use of digital technology will add to your diagnosis and treatment regimes. Now, during your years of practice, you will earn esteem that is attributed to you as doctors. And you've learned from your teachers that it will contribute to what I call your professional transformation. And you won't really realize it till you walk away and you don't have your teachers to turn around to and say, oh, what do I do next? Or is this what I've done, something that needs a correction by greater hands with more longevity and experience. But it will manifest itself in the way you think, you behave, the way you treat your patients, how you relate to colleagues, how you help the disenfranchised, and most of all, how you gain and maintain the trust of your patients, the trust of your patients. Your generation will help us maintain and sustain the highest standards of professional conduct and service that is required of all of us. As new professionals, you have inherited 5 types of ethical duties, and I want to just talk to you for a few minutes. Duties to your patients, to society, to your families, to your colleagues, and to yourself. You will serve your patients with the highest level of professional judgment and care, using the knowledge and skills that you've learned in the past 4 years. And you will build on this through lifelong learning and continuing education. Commit to lifelong learning through various resources, through your colleagues, for your continuing education courses, and through the literature that you'll be bombarded with. Your duty to society is to be both idealists and activists, forever seeking knowledge that will benefit mankind. And you will be called upon for leadership, which I hope you will accept in your communities, working for the good of all. To your colleagues, you're challenged to work together to share the noble task of camaraderie in the crusade to promote health and prevent disease. And as professionals, you will forge friendships that link across professions and ideologies. To your families, there's always the reminder that balance between work and play is important in fulfillment, tranquility, and longevity. We even know now that it adds to your longevity. And finally, you have an obligation to yourself. Follow your passion and create your own silhouette, a profile that defines you and what you expect to accomplish during your professional and your personal lives. And within that profile, pay attention to your own health. And my son reminded me, because I said I was going to be giving a commencement address, and he said, please tell those young doctors to floss their teeth, okay? He said, because they're going to be telling their patients to floss. But he's an emergency room physician, and he sees many patients where there are no dentists, of course, on call at night. So he is seeing patients and he's providing care to injured children, and he just wanted me to remind you the importance of wearing the seatbelts and also their mouth guards. So from Stan, that's to you. Within your busy schedules, plan quiet time for both reflection and meditation. Quiet time well used will contribute to your professional growth and your spiritual growth. I was at Howard a few weeks ago, and the women had a seminar, and they were talking about the profession as having 3 triangles, And that one was education, one was service, and one was spirituality. I thought it was a very interesting insight for these young to-be dentists because they were juniors, seniors, and postdoctoral women students who were coming together on Saturday on their own to talk about personal things that really enriched their lives and made it sustainable for the challenges that they were meeting daily as students. It will help you guide yourself through difficult times, but also you will see it as a part of your wisdom and aging in the years to come. And in closing, I would just share with you three thoughts that have withstood me through my years. And first is primum non nocere, first do no harm. The knowledge that you know is adequate for your practice, but you're going to find that you're going to need to collaborate with your colleagues and also to refer patients. It's a great opportunity for you to learn also. Be prepared, for the best way to prevent an emergency is to be prepared for one. And I learned this in my early surgery training. In this diverse world, treat others as you would have them treat you. And so, remember, there are no shortcuts to any place that's worth going. So today I take this opportunity to congratulate you and to wish you Godspeed. Thank you.
Dr. Singford, thank you for a wonderful speech, a speech that covered current issues, a window to the future, and our ethical duties. I think it was global and important, and I think a good way for you guys to go off into your practice lives. It has been traditional for the graduating class of the School of Dental Medicine to choose one of its members to be the class speaker at commencement. It is a pleasure for me to present this year's class speaker, Dr. David Opperman.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I didn't realize that there were going to be so many of you, but I'm glad that you all made it. I'd like to extend my personal thanks and gratitude to the administration, as well as my classmates, especially of the class of 2011, for providing me with this wonderful opportunity to address you all on such an important and monumental occasion. Well, we're finally here. The day that we've greatly anticipated for the past 4 years has finally arrived. During these past 4 years, we have had an opportunity to study together, to work side by side in lab, to complain about tests and practical exams, and to offer each other advice on whatever it was going on in dental school or in our own personal lives. We've shared the thrill of victory when things were going well, and we've also shared in each other's sorrows and burdens when things weren't going so well. Over the past 4 years, we've seen the best and sometimes the worst of each other. Dental school has a way of bringing out extreme polarities in someone's personality. We were together through thick and thin, and we have grown together and shared many experiences with each other over the course of these last 4 very important years. And today, we come to the end of a long journey that began before we even met each other. Before I get started any further, I'd like to personally extend my congratulations to my classmate, Dr. Dan Adamo, on doing such an excellent job at bringing our school banner up to the front. The hours and hours that you spent practicing for this in the administration building clearly paid off, so good job. I remember meeting with our class for the first time on August 2nd, 2007, when we met for our orientation. Since that time, our collective experience has shaped who we are today, both professionally and personally. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that many of us spent more time together over the past 4 years than we have with members of our own immediate families. Many of us have known for several years that dentistry was the profession that we wanted to pursue. Some of us have known this for most of our lives. So today truly is a milestone that will stand out in our minds for years to come, and it is my hope that we will remember this day with the fond memories and graduation from dental school once. I'd like to take an opportunity and reminisce over some of the fondest memories that I've had over my time here, and hopefully those memories will resonate with my classmates as much as they do with me and help provide some perspective on what our experience has been like over these last 4 years. I might have felt a little less overwhelmed on our orientation day during instrument distribution when I realized that although I didn't know what any of the instruments were on the day that we were given them, today I probably still don't know what they all are or what they're used for. So that might have been a little less overwhelming for me. That was one of my first memories. We were the last class to be taught neuroanatomy by Dr. Wells. Dr. Wells told us that this class was going to be difficult, and it was. Dr. Wells' neuro class is probably the only time that I've ever experienced essay tests in multiple choice format. We were also the last class to be taught histology by Dr. Dreiling. I know that I always appreciated Dr. Dreiling's astounding enthusiasm for cadaver dissections, and I'm glad to have had an opportunity to be in his class as well. I'm pretty sure that there were times when his beard would actually touch the cadaver as he bent over, as he showed the students the fine detail of anatomy that we were all assigned to learn. I'm sure you remember that as well. We spent many hours together in lab, interrupted by the occasional game of ping pong or an innocent prank. We were one of the last classes to do the traditional Lundin exercises, and even now, hearing the name Lundin can elicit anything from nervous laughter to outright bitterness in our minds. One thing that sticks out in my mind, which I'm sure we can all remember, or at least most of us who studied at Edwardsville Library, was how the library would close at 2 o'clock in the morning. Most of the time, we would try to stay the whole time. How effective it was, I don't know. I think by about 1, we were pretty zoned out. But one thing that sticks out in my mind was at about 1:15, 1:20, you'd be completely zoned out staring at your notes, and all of a sudden, there's a voice in the PA that says, "The library will close in 40 minutes. And most of us weren't prepared for this, and it usually had the effect of shocking us back into coherence so that we could try to get some studying done for the last 40 minutes that the library was open. Was it just me, or did the voice seem to get angrier as it got closer to closing time? We navigated the turbulent waters known as second year together. To this day, the fall of 2008 remains a blur in our minds, and most of us, in which pathology tests, bridge wax-ups and bridge soldering, and denture setups all run together. And who among us can forget the infamous phrase of the week that was going on during this time? For those of you who aren't aware, the phrase of the week was an innocent, though slightly awkward phrase that our class would try to inject into questions during lectures. The phrase changed every week, and a few examples include, "You gotta want it," "Too legit to quit," "What a time to be alive," and "I should have knocked." I remember how unbelievably good Blake Swar was at working in the phrase of the week during his questions, and how David Corliss wasn't as successful. Blake was even able to make the phrase, "What a time to be alive," into an ostensibly meaningful mnemonic. I also have to smile as I recall David Corliss's attempt at integrating the phrase, "You've got to want it," into a microbiology lecture. It was a good effort, no one will deny that. David tried to connect the idea that you got to want it to antibody titers during an allergic reaction. Dr. Gillespie's reaction was, of course, priceless and one of my all-time favorite memories of dental school. She said that she understood David's question, except for the "you gotta want it" part. Since it was dealing with an allergic reaction, so no one wants it. We all erupted with laughter, and David had effectively poisoned the well for the rest of the week for anyone else to use the phrase, "you gotta want it," during microbiology class. After the first 2 years of dental school, we packed up and moved over to the clinic, and almost as quickly as we had become used to our surroundings in the lab, we had to move. In the clinic, we experienced many of the same frustrations and challenges of finding chairs and getting patients to come in. All of us have stories that we could share about trying to get projects sent out to the lab, only to have it rejected by quality control multiple times. Before we began seeing patients in the clinic, we were not required to give our first injections to each other, as it used to be. This is probably good because some of you might not be as good of friends with me if we had had to do that. Instead, the spring before we began, we started administering injections, our first injections, on patients in oral surgery. Well, some of us got the hang of it more quickly than others. I remember giving my first injection to an unsuspecting patient, and I didn't do a very good job concealing the fact that I didn't know what I was doing. I was very obviously being instructed on technique, and my own heart rate rose rapidly as I heard the beep, beep, beep on the heart monitor slowly but steadily increase in frequency to a rapid beep, 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 beep of the patient. Right before the patient opened his mouth and I gave him the injection, I heard him mumble under his breath, "Oh God." Unfortunately, but not surprisingly, the injection didn't take and the patient had to be given another injection before the extraction could begin. I learned a couple other lessons giving injections on some of my first patients. One is that you should always feel where you're going to give a mandibular block so that you know where to put topical anesthetic. Another is not to give injections with your magnifying loops down because you can't see where the needle is as you approach. So keep that in mind. But just like other things, we got better. Our first year in clinic involved getting acclimated to patient care, perfecting our technical skills, and building rapport with our patients. We were able to breathe a little easier, knowing that second year was over, but many challenges still remained. Most of our professors would tell us to clear off our desks during tests or quizzes. We learned in occlusion class that when Dr. Langenwalter says he wants everything off the table during quizzes, he clearly and unambiguously wants everything off the table during quizzes. This includes water bottles. Something for lower classes to keep in mind. We learned how to juggle the needs of patients as well as our own needs for clinical requirements, which at many times was a very delicate balancing act. This past year in dental school was a year of major milestones as well. We took our last written boards as well as our clinical boards. We also invested long hours finishing up clinical requirements as best we could, and before we knew it, it was over. This brings us to today, a day that represents the culmination of many hours of hard work and perseverance. As I think back on what we experienced together, I've learned a few lessons that I'd like to share with all of you. The first is that no matter how bad things may be or seem, we should always push forward and persevere. I consider myself somewhat of a self-taught expert in this department. We had many practical exams during our first 2 years of dental school, and if you didn't pass the practical, you had to practice and take the exam over again. I personally spent about 25 hours of my life in those first 2 years taking those practical exams over, and this doesn't include the time I had to practice. It wasn't fun, but the extra time spent practicing definitely paid off. Moving forward, I can say that it was worth forging ahead and not giving up when times get tough. Another lesson that I've learned is that none of our accomplishments these past 4 years are exclusively our own. Each of us had the benefit of a support system that involved our family and friends. For me, this came in the form of cookies, meals, desserts, and the occasional card that told me that my family back home cared about me and was praying for me. I know that I couldn't have made it here today without the support and encouragement that I received from family. All of us owe a very well-deserved thank you to those who are here with us today and those who have helped us through this 4-year journey. A final lesson that I learned is the value of being humble and down to earth and realizing that your classmates are not your rivals. Our class is unique for the amount of cooperation that we, that's not right. Hold on. That we demonstrated towards one another. By and large, our class got along very well, and we avoided cutthroat rivalries that can sometimes emerge in these situations. If we continue to maintain this demeanor in our everyday lives, we will succeed. During first year, Dr. Wells told us that he really enjoyed the fact that he was a doctor and signing his name with the extra initials that came with his degree. But after just a little while, he realized that he was just the same person before as when he started. The same is true of us. We earned the title doctor, or at least those of us who have checked out of the clinic have, and we've earned the respect that goes along with the title. But it is also important to remain down to earth and realize that we are the same people that we were before we got started. In closing, I would like to extend my personal appreciation to all the faculty and staff that put up with us, especially me, for the past 4 years. Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine is a world-class institution, and your devotion to excellence in dental education is evident in your own personal commitment to excellence. Thank you. Finally, that's good, yeah. That's appropriate. Finally, I want to convey to the class of 2011 how much of a privilege it has been being your classmate for the past 4 years, and how much of a privilege it will be to be your colleague in the future. Since many of us have already signed out of clinic and begun the transition to the next phase of our lives, today is the last day that we will all officially be together as a class. Make sure to take this opportunity to mingle and to say your goodbyes. Although we're glad to have reached the summit that is the culmination of years of hard work, I'm sure that we will miss each other, and the friendships that have been forged will never be forgotten. I'm sure even Joe Bumgart will recognize all the faces in the class photo, even if he might not recognize all our names. I'm sorry, Joe, it's just a little funny that he'd get our names confused after 4 years. So, as for me, I'll miss my roommates Brad and Chris and all the time we spent together. I'll miss the late nights that I spent over at Andrew Calderero's house when we should have been studying. I'll miss Chris Kite and Kenny Cross's party attitude. I'll miss the secret handshake that I share with Anthony D. It makes both of us feel pretty important. And we'll all miss Clint Boyle's enthusiasm. I'll miss the time the rest of us spent together at parties and class functions. These years in dental school weren't easy, but I don't think that I could ask for better classmates to go through it with. Dentistry is a great profession, and I'm confident that we will uphold the dignity and integrity that our profession deserves. Dental school was sometimes frustrating, always challenging, and today, the day of our graduation, it is very rewarding. There may have been times early on when we may have regretted the career path that we've chosen and all the work that it took to get us here today. But I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad we did it together. Thank you all for your attention. Enjoy the rest of the day. We've earned it.
Thank you, Dr. Opperman. I think we're going to have to reconsider how we're teaching anesthesia. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Elizabeth Clary. Dr. Clary is a 2005 graduate of our dental school. Currently, Dr. Clary serves as a board member for the Greater St. Louis Dental Society and practices general dentistry in Washington, Missouri, where she lives with her husband and one-year-old daughter. She is also a member and current president of our School of Dental Medicine Alumni Council. It is in her role as president of the Alumni Council that I would now like to invite Dr. Clary to the podium to extend her congratulations to the class.
Thank you, Dr. Boyle. On behalf of the School of Dental Medicine Alumni Association, I am happy to welcome you, the members of the class of 2011, into the ranks of graduates of our school and university. From this day forward, Southern Illinois University serves as a tie that binds us together in a fellowship of men and women with a common educational and professional heritage in dentistry. Your association with the university does not end today, it simply changes. As the newest graduates of Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine, you are extended the services of the Alumni Association and the opportunity to participate in a variety of alumni programs. Your graduation today signifies that the foundation for your professional life is successfully completed, and we anticipate that from this day forward, your accomplishments and your achievements will contribute not only to your success, but also to the greatness of Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I extend congratulations. You have your best wishes for success and happiness through your lives. I ask the audience to now please join me in congratulating the class of 2011.
Thank you, Dr. Cleary. Doctors of the class of 2011, as you begin your new profession and you encounter the success, the respect, and the financial rewards that our profession can bring to you, I ask you to remember these 5 principles and practice them. First, appreciate all of the people in your life who make your life possible, not only your family and friends, but also your staff and your patients. Second, always treat your patients as you would want to be treated. Third, commit yourself to the continual lifelong pursuit of excellence. Fourth, in the face of difficult decisions, always choose to do the right thing. And finally, very few people have the opportunities for success that your dental education will give you. Please share the gift of your knowledge, your skills, and your time with the less fortunate who may need your help. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you, and I wish you success and happiness in your personal and your professional lives. The successful completion of your dental degree was made possible by your family and friends who are here today. Please rise, turn to the audience, and acknowledge their love and support with a round of applause. This concludes today's ceremony. Following the recessional, a reception honoring the graduates will take place in the Goshen Lounge just outside, and everyone is invited. I would ask that the audience please remain at your seats for the recessional, the platform party, and the graduates. Platform guests, faculty, and graduates, please stand to begin the recessional.